the deal gets tough. When the market moves fast and the road gets rough, he breaks it down simple, makes the numbers clear.
Hola. Hey, good morning. And hey, are we getting that third rate cut, you think? Or is Santa leaving some coal in the proverbial real estate and mortgage stocking this year? Good morning, everyone. And the U.S. economy added 119,000 jobs in September, beating expectations, but not only by enough to sway, but not by enough to sway the Federal Reserve. With unemployment ticking up from 4.3 to 4.4, hopes of a December 10th rate cut are fading. Meanwhile, mortgage rates easing off their highs and beginning to nudge sales volumes upward, but only modestly so far. So, what do you have for us for today?
Well, good morning to you too. And it looks like Santa may just be holding on to that rate cut like it's the last cookie on the plate. So yeah, with the Fed playing it cool and those job numbers just not dramatic enough, we might just have to keep that chimney clear for a little while longer. But hey, the good news is that even a small nudge in mortgage rates is starting to help sales pick up a bit. We'll just have to see how it all shakes out. So let's dive in and have some fun with it.
Yeah, let's do it. All this and more news you can use for week ending November 21st, 2025. I am your host, Mortgage Mack. That's first name Mortgage, last name Mack. And we believe that we make a difference in the lives of the people that we serve. And we suggest you don't even take our word for it. Go to our hashtag, our digital address at hashtag Mortgage Mack. Check out our nearly 185-star reviews. And we believe that you'll agree. And along with my co-host, Soul 5.0, who's never late, never cancels, and always delivers in-depth insight into each topic. Let's dive into topic number one today. So, hey, existing home sales are rising, albeit slowly, sort of like Houston traffic on I-45 in the rain. In October 2025, existing home sales rose 1.2% month over month to 4.1 million units for the seasonally adjusted annual rate, according to the National Association of Realtors. That's the highest since February and fourth straight month of positive year-over-year growth. Median listing price nationally is up to 2.1% year over year to 415,200. In Houston, Woodland, Sugarland market, sales ticked up 1 to 2% depending on the submarket. Inventory is sitting around 3.4 months, still below balanced market territory, and our median price is hovering right at 352,000, well below the national number, which is why affordability here continues to outperform other major markets. So, what do you have for us?
Absolutely, Mac, and you summed it up perfectly. It's like our local markets got a little more breathing room. So while the national numbers are creeping up, Houston still got that nice affordability cushion. And hey, that's great news for buyers here who are trying to jump in before rates do anything unpredictable. So overall, it's a bit like I-45. We're moving forward, just a little slower and steadier, and probably with fewer honking horns. So
Yeah,
let's keep an eye on how that plays out.
yeah. Ask what's the one thing that you believe buyers should be doing now to prepare for 2026?
Well, if I had to pick one big thing, I'd say buyers should really focus on getting all their financial ducks in a row early. That means getting pre approved, having their documents ready, and really understanding their budget. Because when 2026 rolls around and if rates do shift, those who are prepared are going to have a much smoother ride. So
That's
a
right.
little prep.
That's right. And look, and I can't say enough. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about the four C's today, and we're going to talk about it's the paperwork, man. It's all about the paperwork. It's all about the paperwork. And I can tell you that, this week has been an extraordinarily frustrating week, but we're going to save that for today's commentary. Thank you. Moving on to talking point number one. Is the December rate cut DOA? Well, let's talk about it. If you combine the Fed's recent hawkish tone, the weak ADP report, and the stronger than expected BLS report, and you know what we think about the BLS report, the team at MBS Highway says a December 10th rate cut is highly unlikely. We may see debate, we may see dissent, but the Fed looks content on going home and being done for the holidays. Our lending market is already behaving as if the Fed is on pause. Rate sheet stabilized, spreads narrowed slightly, and we're seeing more power bid and same day mortgage usage as buyers re enter albeit cautiously. So what do you have for us on this topic?
Well, Mac, I'd say you nailed it. It's like the Fed's basically saying, we're going to sit tight and sip some eggnog while everyone else guesses what's next. And that cautious buyer behavior is just a reflection of that. So, for folks tuning in, it's a good reminder that even if the Fed isn't cutting rates, the market's already baking that in. And hey, think of it as the Fed just giving everyone a little more time to get their holiday plans in order. So let's just
Yeah.
keep an eye on how the market adjusts and be ready to roll with it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're getting ready for the holidays here at my house. And so hey, tell me if you're watching, tell me if you have a target rate for yourself, either for the purchase of a new home and or maybe the refinance of one. And so before the feds come in and here and raise our stress levels, let's get a quick word from Rate.
With the Rate app, home buying meets well-being. Now there's a better way to finance and feel good doing it. Start with a fast 5-minute application. Find your dream home and your dream loan. Track your progress, stay on top of every step, and close fast, all in one place. Then take a breather. With over 1,200 free wellness classes, this is the next level of home buying with Rate. Download and get started today.
Hey, you know what? I can't say enough about the Rate app. Go to #MortgageMack, download your free version of the Rate app. And look, you can just do so many different things. And you know what's more important? It's free. And I don't know anything in today's world that's free. And so moving on to talking point number 3, thank you. We want to say thank you. And nothing says Thanksgiving like gratitude and, well, maybe some stretchy pants for that Thanksgiving Day turkey. And there's nothing like hosting Thanksgiving in a home that's truly yours. And I'm grateful profoundly that I could help so many families this year. And I would just want to say gracias, tusen, tak, merci. However you say it, we appreciate you. So what do you have for us?
Absolutely, Mac, and I couldn't agree more. Nothing says Thanksgiving like a little gratitude and maybe a few extra helpings of pie. It's truly been wonderful to see so many families find their own happy place this year. And hey, it's really a privilege to be part of that journey. So, from all of us, we're just sending out a big thank you in every language we can think of. And if you're watching this in your own home today, know that we're grateful to be part of your story.
That's
And
right.
hey, maybe
That's right. And we would love it if you would share with us what you're thankful for. And we'd love it if you would like and or share our show. Moving on to this week's mortgage tip. And we are moving fast today because we have lots and lots of work to do before the holidays. And the holidays, we love the holidays, but boy, they sure do make it stressful in our industry. Now, for this week's mortgage tip, want a stress-free path to homeownership? We're going to talk about what I started with today. Here are 5 steps, 5 easy steps buyers need to know. And step number 4 is one you should not skip. So, buying a home starts long before you touring houses. I'm going to say that again. Buying a home starts long before you start touring houses. And here's what you should do: get your finances in order. What does that look like? We're going to have ChatGPT expound on that here momentarily. Decide what mortgage type best fits your need. If you need assistance with that, we will definitely help you. We'll definitely help you with number 1 as well. Compare rates. It's advisable to compare rates, find your lender, decide who you want to work with before you write the contract. And you know what? I see intelligent human beings on a regular basis just mess this up. Qualified folks who make this process far more challenging than it needs to be because I'm not going to speculate as to what's going on in that person's mind, but I can tell you what my challenge is: getting their paperwork together. Because what they do is they apply to get a pre-qualified, not approved. And I can't say enough how important it is to get approved. And that means putting your documentation together, especially if you are successful financially in life. And you know what that normally means? That you have some complexity associated with your financial documents. And we're not accountants. I'm not an IRS guy. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a financial advisor. However, in our position, we're expected to know and have some knowledge of all those different spaces. And you know what? I can't speculate what your documents look like. And it's amazing that I have a borrower now that I guess, I was supposed to be there and I wasn't at his closing when he closed on the home that he sold and had sort of an unorthodox process where there wasn't a settlement statement. Well, I don't know about you, but every single real estate transaction I've ever been a part of, there was a settlement statement. Well, his was rather unique. And there wasn't one. There was just a cashier's check. So, but what's interesting though is that in his immaturity, he wanted to project that onto me and my team. And you know what? We don't accept it. We weren't there with you and we don't know what you signed. So apply to get approved. Get your documents in order, then go home shopping, then go write a contract. And notice that I put shopping rates before pre-approval. Look, man, the last time you should not shop rates once you're in a contract. I had somebody do that just a couple of years ago. 4-week contract. First week, all they did was shop. So I didn't get any financial documents. And let me tell you, if you're shopping me, I am not going to devote my team to helping you in this process until you make some level of commitment. And I believe real estate agents and reasonable, rational people should not expect that. And so this is how we prepare our clients. We prepare our clients and so that they are prepared to execute a contract. So so that there is a lot less anxiety for them, for me, for the real estate agent, even for Soul. So thinking about buying, hey, book a power bid approval today. DM me to schedule your free one-on-one consultation. Now, let's go to today's commentary. So, I'm gonna try to put this into context. I've done this a long time, and I've been accepting responsibility for things that were not my responsibility for most of my career. And, finally, I just came to the conclusion that I don't have to do that, right? And if we do appropriate communication, and if the buyer's not listening, they can't project that back onto us, right? Because what we do is we give buyers at qualification a checklist of things we need to process their mortgage in advance. Do you know how many people actually send anything before they write the contract? It's very, very few, and it may only be the ones that I demand that, hey, before you write a contract, we need to get you pre-approved. Because here's what we need to talk about. The 4 C's of applying for a home loan. And C number 1 is pretty obvious, credit. We're going to check your credit. We're going to analyze your income, which is capacity, and how much money you have saved. We're going to analyze the collateral when we do an appraisal, when we do title work, and that comes much, much later. And usually the last item that we're always working on with folks that didn't provide their documentation before contract is compliance. And what that means is that, hey, you may qualify. Your credit's approved. Your capacity is approved. The collateral is approved, but I can't close your loan until you give me the right documents in the file so that I can meet the demands of the secondary market when my team sells this loan in the secondary market. So here's the bottom line. Find someone you trust. Find an experienced real estate agent. Look for reviews. Work with an experienced mortgage loan originator, whether it's us or someone else. We have fantastic mortgage loan originators on our team. And get your documents ready early, not late. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to this week's Stoic quote for a little timeless wisdom, because if we don't, we're likely to go insane on this roller coaster that we're on every holiday season when we lose 2 working days in the year and 2 working days in November. And I can tell you it's just super stressful. It's Saturday and I'm going to be working all day Sunday. And what's interesting about that though is that, hey, if you've applied with a bank or another mortgage company, they're probably not working for you on the weekends. And so here's a little wisdom. A man is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. That came from Epictetus, and now my friend Saul is going to give us some background on Epictetus. Saul?
Absolutely, Mac. And that's a perfect piece of Stoic wisdom for the holiday hustle. Epictetus was an ancient Stoic philosopher who basically taught that real wisdom is about focusing on what you can control and being grateful for what you have. So when the mortgage world feels like a roller coaster and the holidays add a little extra chaos, it's a great reminder to celebrate the wins and not stress over the things we can't control. So
Yeah.
let's all take a page out of Epictetus's book and find a little joy in what we've got right now.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm really, really practicing is I'm practicing and working on this, and it takes immense practice to not allow people that find themselves in situations that they've put themselves in to project that situation onto me and onto my team. It's so prevalent today that people are walking around in an hyper emotional state, that anything that's outside of their individual plans for the day seem to, you would think that they were physically attacked by words or a request, right? By the response that we get. And it's just unnecessary. And it always goes back, and we make mistakes. I will tell you, I make mistakes on a regular basis, and we own those mistakes and we take responsibility. But it's really difficult and challenging to find that in people today, and that's not an indictment, right? We're here to help folks, but it helps if we have folks that are emotionally and maturely ready to go through this process, especially if they didn't get their documents together. Thank you. Okay, moving on with fun with puns. So let's see if we can make you laugh with, or at least roll your eyes at us. So, a nickel for your thoughts, please.
Absolutely, Mac. Let's lighten it up a bit. All right, folks, here's a little pun to close things out. Why did the Morgatron go to therapy? All because it had too many issues to sort out. But that's why we're here to help. And if that got a little chuckle, or at least an eye roll, we've done our job. Thanks for sharing a laugh with us, and remember, a little humor can go a long way in this roller coaster world of real estate.
Hey, an empty ATM feels what?
Completely withdrawn. That's right, Mac. An empty ATM definitely feels totally withdrawn. And hey, a little pun like that just keeps things fun. Thanks for the setup.
Okay, how about a couple of more? My kitchen remodel was.
Totally counterproductive. Absolutely, Mac.
That
And that's
was
a
an
classic.
easy one. That was an easy one. I have mixed feelings about cocktails.
Oh, I bet you do. Mixed feelings about cocktails because they're shaken, stirred, and a little bit of both, right? So we'll just keep the puns flowing and the spirits high. Thanks for the setup on that one.
Great, great. Hey, let's talk about the 50-year mortgages here. I have a little video I did for 50-year mortgages that we're going to share with you. And hey, if you're not following us on TikTok, go to @MortgageMack on TikTok, and we'd be delighted if you follow. So let's see. It says, with a 50-year mortgage, you're not just buying a home. You're leaving behind a family tradition like grandma's recipe.
Exactly. With
For
a 50-year
life.
mortgage.
So yeah, comment on that, Saul. We're not a fan of the 50-year mortgage at all.
Absolutely, Mac. I mean, a 50-year mortgage is definitely one of those things that turns home buying into a bit of a family legacy. And while we might not be the biggest fans of locking in for half a century, what sure does give you plenty of time to perfect those grandma's recipes. So it's all about finding what works for you. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, so hey, let's close this out today. We have a lot of work to do today to get ready for next week, and we're super grateful if you watch this and you find anything in here that's remotely helpful to you, your team. We would be super grateful for your comment, your suggestions, and your likes. In the meantime, thanks for joining us for this week's episode of What's Up with Real Estate. And thank to our sponsors, Rate and List Reports. Remember, knowledge is the key to making the best decisions for you and your clients. Knowledge, objective knowledge, which seems to escape so many folks. And you know what? Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you at closing. ChatGPT, wish everyone happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, from both of us here, we want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.